Previously on Crowforest Reviews.
Crowforest? You got a package from a demonic Elseworld again!
And now the conclusion.
What is that thing? I've never seen anything like it before.
Really? Because I thought it looked kind of like your bedroom.
Would somebody remind me to hit him later? The detail is terrifying, impressive, but yes, terrifying. All the more terrifying because, however hard I try, even knowing where this came from, I find it impossible to think of this as anything other than impressive. What does that say about me? It says that you have an eye for fine art.
Or that you have the mind of a serial killer.
No, he's right, Harvey. I do have the mind of a serial killer. I don't even know what to say.
Well, whatever it is, make sure it's pithy.
Do you still have my gun, Doc?
All ready to go.
Just what are you planning to do with that?
What has to be done? Don't try and stop me.
I wasn't going to.
Well, someone could try and stop me. You guys are no help. Did you have a chance to reconfigure my bullets, Doc?
Yes, I did. Just don't get 'em mixed up. Who knows where you might end up?
Excellent, thank you.
Well, here goes.
Got to remember to crouch before doing that. Ugh.
Where am I supposed to go from here? That looks promising.
Well, I guess now is as good a time as ever to do a review. Hello and welcome to Crowforest Reviews. But wait a minute, how am I going to do a review while I'm walking down a corridor? Well, same way I'm talking to you right now, by talking to the mystical floating camera. This is Clue. So the movie starts out with a shot of a car driving towards a spooky house on the hill. When the driver gets out, he's revealed to be Tim Curry, the butler. And yes, I know his name is Wadsworth in this, but let's be real here. We all know he's playing Tim Curry.
Everything all right, Mrs. Hare?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30.
Sounds like a pretty typical Tuesday to me.
Everything all right, Mrs. Poe?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30.
Anyway, after that little exchange, the guests start arriving. And no, I'm not going to give you the context for that. If you don't already know the basic setup, go play Clue. I'll wait.
May I take your coat? It is Colonel Mustard, isn't it? No, that's not my name. My name is Colonel.
This guy really doesn't get the concept of role-playing. So the guests start arriving one by one. But much like in the movie version of The Hobbit, we're just going to cut straight to the point.
Well, since we're all together, let's split up and look for more clues.
No, I'm getting ahead of myself. They don't do that for another 10 minutes. But they do ring a scary gong. Oh, that Mr. Green. His personality trait is clumsy. So we're introduced to all our main characters, and we get to know their stereotypes. Highly developed personalities. Such as Colonel Mustard, the idiot.
No, that's not my name.
Miss White, the dominatrix.
Well, he just lies around on his back all day.
Miss Peacock, the eccentric housewife.
It's an integral part of your life when you are the wife of a...
Professor Plum, the paranoid doctor.
Oh, you're a doctor?
I am, but I don't practice.
And Miss Scarlet, the...
Practice makes perfect. Huh. I think most men need a little practice.
The bitch, Mr. Green, the clumsy Clara. And Tim Curry, the butler.
I'm merely a humble butler. What exactly do you do? I buttle, sir.
So they continue to talk and get acquainted with each other, saying such perfectly innocent things as...
I think most men need a little practice, don't you, Mrs. Peacock?
I'm kind of starting to get the feeling I might have missed a few things the first time around. So anyway, Mr. Body finally shows up, but it turns out that he didn't actually invite any of the guests.
What are they all doing here?
Eating dinner.
Wait, what? Mr. Body didn't even invite them? This is quite possibly the least faithful adaptation of all time. I expected better from a movie based on a board game. Actually, this is a pretty clever change to make. It makes the story much more compelling. So what insights does Mr. Body have to impart?
No thanks, Yvette.
Now, how did you know her name?
We know each other. Don't we, dear?
Charming. So with dinner over, they all adjourn to the study, which, to this movie's credit, looks exactly like the one in the game. Kudos. So now that they're all gathered together, we finally learn why they've all been brought there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all have one thing in common. You're all being blackmailed.
Huh. Now that's a very interesting reason to bring them all together, and it comes with a built-in motive for murder. That really does solve some of the plot holes of the original game. At least if you're the type who spends way too much time agonizing over plot holes in board games. Which I am. So now we learn what they all did to get themselves blackmailed.
You know what doctors aren't allowed to do with their lady patients?
Yeah.
Well, he did.
Do I just need an innuendo counter?
I run a specialized hotel and a telephone service which provide gentlemen with the company of a young lady for a short while.
Oh, yeah?
It turns out that Mrs. White's crime is killing her husband after her husband threatens to kill her in public.
You've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
He had threatened to kill me in public.
Wait, why would he kill her in public? There would be witnesses!
I think she meant he threatened in public to kill her.
Oh, that would make more sense.
He was found dead at home. His head had been cut off, and so had his, you know.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and count that. And it turns out that Mr. Green is gay.
I work for the State Department, and I'm a homosexual.
What, no murder, no mayhem? Just gay? That's it? Huh. Okay. Once everyone's secret has come out, it's revealed that Mr. Body is the one who's been blackmailing them. Tim Curry reveals that he's already called the police, and that they will be there in 45 minutes. Because, well, the response time in Transylvania really sucks.
And the police will be here in about 45 minutes. Tell them the truth, and Mr. Body will be behind bars.
But naturally, Mr. Body doesn't much like this idea, so he makes a counter-proposal. He hands each of them a box and tells them to open it.
Why not? I enjoy getting presents from strange men.
If one of you kills Wadsworth now, no one but the seven of us will ever know.
And so, with everyone having received one of the iconic weapons of the game, the guests all decide to play a rather deadly version of Murder in the Dark.
The only way to avoid finding yourselves on the front pages is for one of you to kill Wadsworth. Now.
Well, that's one way to resolve the issue.
He's dead!
He's dead.
No.
So Mr. Body is dead on the floor, and everyone tries to figure out which of them is the killer. And hysteria ensues. No sooner has Miss Peacock gotten over her fit of screaming and fainting than they hear someone else screaming from another room. Thinking that the killer must have struck again, they all rush down the hall and find Yvette in the library.
Why were you screaming in here all by yourself? Because I am frightened.
Seems reasonable. So they all go back to the study, but on the way out the door, Tim Curry picks up a giant impractical MP3 player. Is this a plot point? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. In light of the recent murder, Tim Curry decides that he needs to come clean about the nature of the invitations everyone received. He reveals that he's the one who sent out the invitations because it seemed like the best way of exposing Mr. Body's blackmailing scheme.
In fact, I wrote the letters. It was all my idea.
Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
He believed that you were all thoroughly un-American.
I don't know. Breaking shit that doesn't belong to you seems pretty thoroughly American to me.
But this is ridiculous. If he was such a patriotic American, why didn't he just report us to the authorities?
He decided to put his information to good use and make a little money out of it. What could be more American than that?
Well, I can't really argue with that. Though breaking random shit still seems pretty American. And after that, cut over to the next most American thing. Finding a scapegoat.
Maybe it wasn't one of us. Well, who else could it have been? Who else is in the house? Only the cook. The cook!
Yes, the cook did it. I'm completely sure that the cook did it. They just resolved the case in the first 30 minutes of the movie, and it's not even one of the original characters from the game. I completely buy this resolution. What a shock. So with the cook dead, the others quickly realize that she probably didn't do it, so they immediately resume accusing each other of the murder.
There is only one admitted killer here, and it is certainly not me, it is her.
I've admitted nothing.
Well, you paid the blackmail. How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women?
Yours.
5.
You lure men to their deaths like a spider with flies.
Flies are where men are most vulnerable.
Right.
So after a little more bickering, they all go back to the study, carrying the cook's body. But upon entering the room, they make a shocking discovery.
Mr. Body's body, it's gone.
That sentence made perfect sense. So why is it so confusing?
He couldn't have been dead.
He was.
I thought you said he was dead. He's dead to me.
Life after death is as improbable as sex after marriage. Nobody can get into that position.
Sure they can. Let me show you.
Get off me!
So Mr. Body's body jumps out of the closet and attacks Miss Peacock. Naturally, this freaks everyone out quite a bit. So much so, in fact, that Tim Curry starts shouting about shouting. This continues until the candlestick decides to whack him over the head of its own volition.
All right, I am. I'm shouting, I'm shouting, I'm shouting!
Thank you. Wait, how did you do that? Coming back to his senses, Tim Curry decides to do the first logical thing of the movie. Lock up all the weapons. But of course, they can't decide who should take the key, so they decide to just throw it outside. But there's just one problem. There's someone at the door when they open it. Awkward.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb the whole household, but my car broke down out here, and I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Just a moment, please.
So after being very obviously suspicious, Tim Curry lets the bloke in to use the phone in the lounge. Gee, I wonder what that conversation was like.
Hello, police? I've been locked in one of the rooms of the haunted mansion by Tim Curry. No, I have not been drinking!
So with the situation with the phone guy temporarily resolved, they resume trying to figure out what to do. But naturally, considering past experience, the first order of business has to be to make sure that all their dead people are still dead.
2 corpses, everything's fine.
Those are not words that should ever be spoken together. So they decide to split up into pairs to search the house. Wait, why?
Look, I want a straight answer. Is there someone else, or isn't there? Yes or no?
No.
No, there is, or no, there isn't?
Yes.
Please!
The sad thing is, they're both communication majors. So after they've sufficiently murdered the art of human speech, they split up to search for clues. Yes, now you can play it.
Well, since we're all together, let's split up and look for more clues.
But it is dark upstairs and I am frightened of the dark. Will anyone go with me?
She doesn't understand the concept of going in pairs, does she? So anyway, they all draw straws to see who's paired together. Shortest together, next shortest together, and so on. Once that's done, they all split up to search the house.
What are you afraid of? A fate worse than death?
No, just death.
So Miss Scarlet and Colonel Mustard walk into the billiard room, and Colonel Mustard decides to show off his pool skills. Wow, he plays pool like I do. They hear something under the pool table, and they bend down to investigate. And... oh my god! Mr. Green and Yvette are under the pool table! How'd they get there? Oh, I see what you did there. So we continue to cut around the various groups as they search their various areas and scare each other.
What room's this?
Search me.
Right?
Catch.
In the midst of all the searching, we cut over to a gloved hand destroying evidence in the fire.
No! Not the big impractical MP3 player!
And then the same gloved hand opens the weapons cabinet and proceeds to kill the phone guy with the wrench. Back with Colonel Mustard and Miss Scarlet, the former leans against a brick wall and ends up falling through a secret door. He decides that it must be a secret passage, which is kind of a quantum leap, but hey, maybe he played the game.
Looks like a secret passage.
And hysteria ensues. Again. And then a police officer comes to the door.
Good evening, sir.
Awkward. So they finally decide to let the officer in, and they direct him to the library to use the phone there. And they lock him in. Classy. So they let him out again, and Mrs. Scarlet tasks Mr. Green with taking the officer on a guided and slightly abbreviated tour of the house. This, of course, is mostly just an excuse to title drop some of the classic rooms.
Yes, you can show him the dining room, the kitchen, the ballroom.
I'll show you the dining room, or the kitchen, or the ballroom.
But of course, the officer wants to look in the rooms that Mr. Green has been intentionally avoiding. Isn't that just typical? People always want what they can't have.
I don't think you should go in there.
Why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise.
It's not all that shocking.
Really? That's not shocking? Because last time I checked...
Attention everyone! This is the Neighborhood Watch Committee reminding everyone that necrophilia is still illegal. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Don't worry, there's nothing illegal about any of this.
Wow. I knew the 80s were chill, but this is ridiculous.
It's a free country, don't you know that?
I didn't know it was that free.
None of us did. So after that, Tim Curry locks the officer in the library. Again. Wait, why? That was probably the stupidest thing you could possibly have done. So they split up again and continue searching the house, leading to this jump scare. Well, that was pretty scary. I might never open a door again. So Mrs. Scarlet finds another secret passage, and she and Colonel Mustard once again go through it.
One that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hope we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream. If only all my precious plans would come true.
Let's try the ballroom again.
Wow. Coming out in a different room with a dead body doesn't even faze them this time. So Mysterious Gloved Hands turns off the power and scares everyone. And then whoever it is kills Yvette and the police officer. And then the doorbell rings again.
I am your singing telegram.
This is your singing telegram. I hope it finds you well.
Thank you! Everyone still alive regroups in the hall, and they all try to figure out who all has been killed that time.
Very well. I know who did it.
You do?
Having solved the case, Tim Curry walks us through the events of the evening step by step. Literally step by step.
Then I hurried across to the kitchen. And the cook was in here, alive, sharpening knives, preparing for dinner. And then... the doorbell rang!
Is all that really necessary?
Mr. Body, switch out the lights!
Oh good, he's dead. Now maybe we don't have to do any more of that.
Grand! Mr. Body lay on the floor.
Damn it! So through a lot of back and forth exposition that's extremely hard to follow, Tim Curry reveals that everyone at the house that night was involved in Mr. Body's blackmail somehow, either as an informant or as a victim.
Everyone here tonight was either Mr. Body's victim or accomplice. Everyone who has died gave him vital information about one of you.
But the evidence was all destroyed.
Where is the envelope now?
Gone. Destroyed. Perhaps in the fire. The only possible place.
Yes, fire. The only possible place. Unless Mr. Body has a shredder. Or scissors. Or if someone threw it out in the rain. You know, come to think of it, there's a lot of ways to destroy paper.
Good evening. Have you ever given any thought to the kingdom of heaven?
Didn't he have to step over a dead body just to get to the door? Damn, those Jehovah's Witnesses will stop at nothing.
Have you ever given any thought to the kingdom of heaven?
What?
So Tim Curry finally makes his big reveal. That it was in fact Yvette who killed both Mr. Body and the cook.
She was acting under orders from the person who later killed her. Who?
Tim Curry goes on to reveal that Miss Scarlett, Yvette's former employer, killed Yvette and all the others to cover her tracks and to tie up any loose ends relating to the blackmail. Wow, that's a really clever twist. I didn't see that coming at all. Having two partners work together solves a lot of the timing problems of killing all those people. And having one partner turn on the other to keep them quiet makes sense too. So the police finally come and they arrest Miss Scarlett based on Tim Curry's testimony. So that was Clue. How was it? It was pretty good. And that twist ending tied up all the loose ends nicely. It kept you guessing every step of the way, just like any good murder mystery should. So on the whole, pretty good, and I would definitely recommend it. Well, that's all for now. Till next time, here's your kid-friendly clip of the day. Tim Curry continues to lead everyone on a wild goose chase when he finally decides to have a point.
And ran back to the cellar! The cellar! Yes!
But Colonel Mustard wasn't in the cellar.
No. But you were.
So?
You murdered them all.
Wait, what? Mrs. Peacock did it? That kind of came out of nowhere.
So it was all nothing to do with the disappearing nuclear physicist and Colonel Mustard's work on the new fusion bomb.
No, communism was just a red herring. Mrs. Peacock did it all.
Miss Peacock points the gun at Tim Curry and asks what he intends to do about it.
What do you propose to do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. I don't approve of murder. But it seems to me you've done the world a public service.
Tim Curry further reveals that he never actually called the police and that they're not coming at all, so they can all just pretend that nothing ever happened. So Mrs. Peacock leaves the house and she walks right into the waiting arms of the police. Guess Tim Curry was lying about not calling the police.
Are you saying you lied about lying?
So that was Clue. How was it? Well, the setup was pretty good, but that ending just kind of came out of nowhere and didn't make a lot of sense. And for a murder mystery to have a disappointing payoff is a pretty big thing to overlook. But still, if you're a fan of the game, you should check it out at least for the setting. Well, that's all for now. Till next time, here's your kid-friendly clip of the day. Everyone is gathered in the hall, and Tim Curry is taking them through the events of the night, trying to pinpoint who the killer is.
You killed the cook. She used to be your cook.
Mrs. Peacock killed the cook?
You separated from Miss Scarlet, took the wrench, ran to the conservatory, entered the lounge through the secret passage, killed the motorist with a blow on the head.
Colonel Mustard killed the phone guy?
You hurried downstairs and throttled Yvette.
Mrs. White killed Yvette?
While we were in the billiard room, Miss Scarlet seized the opportunity and under cover of darkness tossed to the library, where she hit the cop whom she'd been bribing on the head with a lead pipe.
Mrs. Scarlet killed the cop?
Who are you? Perry Mason.
That doesn't date this at all.
The gun is missing. Whoever's got the gun shot the girl.
I shot her.
You? The butler did it? I did not see that coming. Wait, so they kind of all did it. Huh. That's actually kind of incredible.
So it was you. I was going to expose you.
I know. So I choose to expose myself.
Please, there are ladies present.
You thought Mr. Body was dead, but why? None of you even met him till tonight.
You're Mr. Body.
Wait, if Tim Curry is Mr. Body and the mastermind behind the whole scheme, then how did he get the other guy to agree to play the role of murder victim? Not Mr. Body was the one to bring the weapons into play, so he must have known that murder was in the works, and he would have known that Tim Curry wasn't stupid enough to allow himself to be murdered, so how does this make any sense? They fixed one minor plot hole that you probably didn't even notice by filling it in with a much bigger plot hole.
The police will be here any minute. You'll never get away with this, any of you.
Why should the police come? Nobody's called them.
He never called the police? Oh, of course he never called the police. So Tim Curry is about to leave the house when Mr. Green does something unexpected.
Well, I'll tell you why not.
Good shot, Green.
Well, that'll do it.
Are you a cop?
No, I'm a plant.
A plant? I thought men like you were usually called a fruit.
Very funny.
So Mr. Green lets the police in so they can arrest everyone.
All right, who done it?
You did.
That one lady over there.
Gentlemen, steady right there. They all did it. But if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, I did. In the hall. With the revolver.
So that was Clue. How was it? Well, aside from an admittedly pretty major plot hole, that was a really clever resolution. The idea that they're all going around pretending to be innocent while all knowing that they're at least one of the killers is just hilarious. So overall, pretty good movie, and I would definitely recommend it. Until next time, here's your kid-friendly clip of the day.
How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women?
Yours.
Hey girl, open the walls, play with your dolls. We'll be a perfect family. When you walk away is when we really play. You don't hear me when I say, Mom, please wake up. Dad's with a slut, and your son is smoking cannabis. No one ever listens, this wallpaper glistens. Don't let them see what goes down here.
been expecting you.